Hi everyone, I am back again with another episode of Fast Foundations, and this week's question is from Leia. Now, this is a question that I've admittedly gotten quite a few times in the past, but the most recent question was from Leia, and I figured, you know what, if at least 3, 5, 12 people asked the same question over the years, it deserves a video. So Leia asks, what type of garment would you recommend for going under an overbust corset? It looks like most corset liners are geared towards only covering the torso. And by torso, she means specifically from the underbust to the upper hip and not covering the bust area or the upper back. And this is very true. To my knowledge, at this point, there are no overbust corset liners per se, and this is for a few reasons. Most corset liners are cut straight across at the top and bottom edges, so if you are wearing this with an overbust corset, what's going to happen is if the overbust has these sweetheart contours, then, and you know, it goes low under the armpit so that you can move easily, then the corset liner is going to peek up out of these top edges of the corset. It's going to look a little bit unsightly. The second reason is because the liner is supposed to stretch over the largest parts of your body and then compress down with your corset. Because it is essentially a compression garment, it is also going to compress the larger parts of you. So if you are pulling the liner up to cover your breasts, most people have breast tissue that is a little bit soft and malleable and compressible unless you have a surgical enhancement. And when this happens, it's going to change the projection of your bust line. It's going to change the way that the corset fits overall. And so ultimately what can end up happening is it might kind of just smush down your bust and change the type of support that you get from your corset. What I have done in the past when I'm reviewing some of my mesh overbusts, for instance, and I want to make it YouTube friendly, is I will wear a sort of tight skater dress underneath, something made from lycra that is very smooth, a very thin type of fabric that is stretchy but can compress down, and it's really cute too. I gotta admit to myself, like the fun pop of color underneath the mesh pieces, like I personally like that look. But if you would like a liner that kind of, you know, it covers everything underneath your overbust corset, but it's also a little bit more stealthy than, say, a dress or a tank top, for instance. I suppose the Longline Liner from Orchard Corset, that's the only brand I know of at the moment that specifically makes off-the-rack, budget, longline liners. And so if you don't want to pull the corset like over your low hip, then what you can do is sort of like turn it upside down, pull it up over your bust line so that it stops at your high hip and covers your bust, and then put your corset over top. Now you might have to do a little bit of pushing and pinning to get the top line of the liner to not peek out from underneath your overbust corset, but that is one option. And in the case of, for instance, history bounding or Victorian reproduction, you can always wear like an authentic chemise underneath your corset, because obviously Victorian women did not wear the corset right next to their skin. Now, when I purchase an overbust for my own use, for instance, my Sparklewren piece, at the time when I commissioned this piece, Jenny asked me, do I want the inside lined in cotton or do I want it lined in silk? And I was just like, wow, like silk would be amazing, but also I want something that's not going to stain with sweat and stuff. I am going to be wearing this against my skin. It's my own damn corset. I can do what I like, so I don't wear that with a liner. But when corset makers, for instance, loan corsets to me, and when I'm doing photo shoots, for instance, I will obviously wear a liner because I'm under the hot sun or under studio lighting, and I am sweating and running around, and sometimes I have, the posing is hard, okay? Like, I am never going to say that models do nothing. Like, that shiz is hard. So in those scenarios, what I have done is I've just worn an underbust liner under the corset. Where I do most of my own sweating is on my lower back, so it is protecting the parts of the corset where it might get the most soiled from my body personally. And what I've also done is I've taken a tissue or a handkerchief and I've sort of like stuffed it into my cleavage, and that has caught any sweat from my chest area as well. If you are the type of person to sweat quite a lot on your chest, what I would recommend is get a few pairs of washable, reusable nursing pads. I mean, you can use the disposables if you really want to, but the reusable ones will pay for themselves, especially if you are intending on replacing all of your bras with Overbust corsets. So you can get them in different absorbencies, different thicknesses, depending on whether you need or want more or less padding, different sizes, depending on the size of your own bust as well. And so you can just sort of insert them just the way that you would insert any kind of chicken cutlets or anything. If you know that you're going to be using reusable pads pretty much on a daily basis every time you wear this corset, then you can affix Velcro to the inside. You can pin it in place, or you can use double-sided tape, whatever your preference is, so that you can switch them out as often as needed. These pads can be hand washed, or you can stick them in a laundry bag and machine wash them on the gentle cycle. Use them for as long as you need them. Another great thing that you might want to consider investing in is a separate boned structured Modesty panel. So the first time that I saw a removable Modesty panel was actually from Madame Cher, and that Modesty panel was just like, I considered it like ingenious at the time because it didn't have any metal boning in this panel. You can like just take out the little ribbons, you can wash it, it's not going to rust because it has synthetic baleen in it. And then Madame Cher included another Modesty panel that I can use while one is washing and drying, and you know, as my Jamaican parents would say, one a wash, one a back. So obviously not everybody likes Modesty panels, and if you are the type of person to sweat quite a lot on your back, you might prefer to just completely nix the Modesty panel and have like the lacing gap so that your back can breathe a little bit. But if you like Modesty panels, but you also want to be able to sort of like switch them out and wash them when they get particularly soiled, etc., I can link some Modesty panels up in the cards and down in the description below. I'll also link to some washable and reusable bust inserts like the nursing pads, and I will also link to some liners. Leia, I hope that answers your question. If anybody else has a burning question they would like to ask me, feel free to click the link in the description below and it will lead you to my voicemail app. You don't need to download anything for it, and it does not require any phone number, no long distance charges, nothing. It's on the browser. Just click the button, record a question that is 90 seconds in length or less for me, and I will consider answering it in a future episode of Fast Foundations. And that is about it. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next week for another video. Bye. Bun. No bun. Bun. No bun. It's lopsided.